Controversial ways we are raising our son. He has his own iPad. Screen time is not limited. He eats whatever he likes. He is never forced to eat something he doesn't like. And if there's nothing he likes, we go buy him something that he will eat. He is allowed to try and have candy, juice, soda, etc. We co-sleep and contact nap. If he wants something from the store, he will get it. He doesn't have a strict bedtime routine. He will not be made to do something he does not want to do. His feelings and boundaries are just as valid as ours. When he says no, it means no.
Mhm.
Number one, he has his own iPad. Screen time is not limited. He's 2 or 3. All right, that's actually not a good idea, whether your kid's 2 or 3, or whether your kid's 12 or 13, or whether your kid's 17 or 18, and they're living in your home. That's not a good idea for you or for me, Aaron. That's not a good idea for anybody to have unlimited screen time. This is where you want to plead with any parents. You want to plead with this mom to look at all of the social science data that's coming out. And we would just say 2 names, Jonathan Haidt, Jean Twenge. Go look those 2 individuals up. Jonathan Haidt last year wrote a very important book called The Anxious Generation. We tried to promote the heck out of it last year because it's so important, because we have underprotected, as he says, we have underprotected our kids in the virtual world. This is underprotection. This is going to lead to a child, an older child, a teenager who is absolutely addicted to the screen.
Mm-hmm. And you would assume this mom had some kind of filter on it so that pornography and some other things wouldn't pop up on her 2-year-old's iPad. But then you might be able to push back. I mean, she doesn't say she has any boundaries on it at all. I'm just assuming she does.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want adult content, as they say, to come on the iPad of a 2-year-old, but you might push back and say, well, why would you have any filter if he's really the authority? Shouldn't you let him just kind of scroll and click on what he wants to?
Yeah, well, there is no reason. I mean, given what she said, there is by what principle would you limit anything? Not just the amount of time, but then the content. Because later on, when she talks about boundaries and feelings, they're just as valid as the adults. So what if when he's very young, he stumbles onto porn, she discovers he's watching graphic pornography at 7, 8, 9 years of age? Is she going to say, well, we're not going to limit that because he's the authority. He doesn't, we don't give boundaries. So, I mean, so I would guess, you'd hope, for God's sakes, you'd hope that she would put a boundary there. But then what that helps to reveal is that she can't actually live this out consistently. No one can live out expressive individualism consistently. It's a radical relativism. It's a radical subjectivism that's not livable. And that's another way we test ideas. Are they livable? This is not livable. Okay. He eats what he likes. He is never forced to eat something he doesn't like. And if there's nothing he likes, we go buy him something that he will eat. There are a lot of parents, let's be honest. Parents, let's be honest. Okay. That maybe this is one of the areas where maybe your lifestyle.
Your kitchen has become a cafeteria.
Yes.
And you serve your kids whatever they want. So if you have 3 kids, some nights you are making 3 different dinners for 3 different children.
What's wrong with that, Aaron?
Well, there's a number of things wrong with it, but I think actually it connects with narcissism, with what we talked about, that you build in your child the expectation that everything is about them and what they want. And so eating something you don't like isn't something you want to do. It wasn't something I wanted to do when I was young. My mom made stuffed peppers. Now, I grew up in the 80s. That was like a popular dinner. Your mom's she made
She
chicken
made chicken
cacciatore.
cacciatore.
Yeah, see, we all had to suffer through this stuff.
Oh, that was the worst.
But this built up in us resilience in our stomachs and in our character. And I mean, for sure, I grew up not thinking whatever I want, I get. And that was good for me to have those walls crash down. And so this cafeteria style nurtures in kids that it's bad to eat something I don't want to. And if I don't want to eat it, I don't have to. Plus, it makes probably mom, but maybe mom and dad, just cooks in the kitchen who are just there to serve and serve them.
Serve the children.
Serve the children. And not we are a family coming together to have a meal together that is hopefully nutritious, but also the good of it isn't just the food for our bodies, but it's what it does to our soul too, to connect over sharing a meal together.
I think
so. There's all kinds of problems with this.
That's a really important point because, right, she says if there's nothing he likes, then we'll go buy him something that he will eat. As if the meal is just simply to have, maybe just for pleasure's sake, to eat food you like. A meal, biblically speaking, is much deeper than that. And we have done a past episode on a theology of food, because sharing a meal as a family is an intimate thing. There's a relational intimacy that comes with that. It's not just about eating food so I can survive or eating food that's pleasurable to me. It's that we are sharing this meal together. We are breaking bread together. And it's not just for survival. It's for the development of our souls. It's for the relationship that it builds, the bonds that it builds, the fellowship and the unity that it builds. So biblically speaking, there's problems with it. Practically speaking, there's problems.
There's major
with it.
problems with it.
And what does this produce in a kid when they're older? What kind of character does this produce? It produces children who cannot be content or happy or joyful without getting what they want and what they like.
Yeah. They don't learn to just go along and be thankful for food that is provided for them. And when we read in the last episode, when we read that definition of narcissism, one of the characteristics of that, again, this isn't the clinical narcissism, but kind of your narcissistic personality type person. One of the things is that a narcissist can't be happy or content without getting their way. And so obviously this area of food is a huge one, a huge part of our lives. And if you nurture in your child a discontent with any kind of food other than what they want at the moment, then you are creating in them this habit of, I should get what I want.
Yeah, and the next thing she says is he is allowed to try and have candy, juice, soda, etc. Now, put that together with what she said about not forcing him to eat anything. I guess if all he wanted was candy and soda for dinner, then that's what they would do for him.
Yeah.
And if there's just the health issue here. I mean, that's another problem. What about the child's health?
Yeah.
If you love your child, which, I mean, she does, you would guess she does.
Of course she does, yes.
But you'd also want to say, well, that you should be concerned of his health, because a child who you feed like this will ultimately become sick.
Yes.
They are going to develop major health problems, let alone their teeth are going to fall out. So there's just the health aspect of it as well.
Because real biblical love, real love doesn't disconnect love and truth, like these feelings, the affections with truth. And so as a parent, as a spouse, whoever you deeply love, part of that, we can't disconnect truth from that. And because true love is wanting someone's good.
Mm.
And so you want your 2-year-old's good. Of course she does. How could she think that it would be good for a 2-year-old to choose their meals all the time, and that candy, juice, and soda are just unlimited, apparently, in what they want? We know that a 2 and 3-year-old has no wisdom on what foods their body needs. They don't
Yeah.
have any knowledge of this. So they obviously need our guidance in this. But even in this, if you've adopted the self is the authority, then this is actually living it out consistently. Even the 3-year-old self is the authority and doesn't need an outside authority.
Yeah, this is where it's just clear good intentions are not enough. Loving your child is not enough. You also need to apply wisdom and truth,
Mhm.
right? Because you just think this is tragic. I mean, this kid could be struggling with obesity by the time he's 5 or 6 or 7, and then a lifetime of that,
Mhm.
and health problems.